When the world strikes your heart, storming with jabs, dismissals, betrayals, what if instead of bracing, you leaned into an immutable calm? What if the secret to staying unshaken isn't in shielding yourself, but in knowing who you are at your marrow? Imagine waking not because you resist the hurt, but because you've already welcomed it, dismantled it, made it part of your own skin. You feel the echo of every insult, every slight, but you don't collapse. You become calm, not by armoring yourself, but by integrating every wound, every fragment of pain, until nothing outside can find purchase. That is the heart of your transformation. Notice how your triggers are not intruders, they're invitations. The hot edge of a comment, the flash of criticism, the sting of disregard, these are not assaults, but reflections of that which resides unspoken within you. When someone irritates you, don't clench. They ask you to heal something deep inside, to bring to light what's been lurking in shadow. Every provocation becomes your path to individuation, to wholeness. You don't shrink from it. You lean forward into it, breathing it in, owning it, until you are no longer reactive, but present. You understand now that the power to stay calm resides in that subtle pause, the sacred space between stimulus and response. Mel Robbins calls it a moment as fleeting as 5 seconds. Here, you decide. Will you give your peace away, or will you breathe and reclaim it? In that suspension, your power lives, and you train your mind, muscle by muscle, to pause, to breathe, to choose. This pause becomes instinct. You are no longer your anger, you are the observer. You choose calm again and again until calm becomes your default. Because anger is not what hurt you, it is what obscures what hurt inside. You're not angry, you're triggered. What is the trigger? Disrespect, invisibility, denial. When you separate the trigger from the anger it spawns, clarity emerges. You can say, I'm not angry, I am disrespected. Then you meet that with truth. Truth about the world, about yourself, and about what truly matters. In that instant, you cease being a puppet of impulse. You reclaim your narrative. Expectations are the invisible chains that keep you bound. You expected respect. You expected acknowledgement. You expected order. But the world doesn't comply with your invisible rule book. The moment you drop the illusion of control, restraint falls away. The road opens. Even when they break your plans, when circumstances unspool, you remain calm, for you no longer fight what island. You root your response in the present, not in illusion. When words lash, criticism lands. Remember, your emotional safety is not eroded by their intent, it's determined by your integration. You are not fractured by offense unless you haven't yet embraced the parts within you that still bleed. Containment isn't found in shutting down. It is found in shining light on what aches, in saying, I see you, shadow, and you are part of me. With that integration, you become untouchable, not because nothing strikes you, but because nothing can break what already knows itself whole. Silence becomes your shield and your sword. When words are designed to hurt, your silence says, you don't control me. You don't repel by striking back, you release. By refusing to engage, let silence speak the salve. No words ever could. In this you are clear, not cold. Present, not defensive. Your stillness speaks volumes. Gratitude dissolves the embers of rage. You cannot cling to rage and gratitude at once. In the heat of frustration, when every fiber screams, pause, what small gift remains? A heartbeat, a breath, a memory. Let gratitude draw you upward, untethering anger by replacing it with recognition of what persists, what grounds you, what still loves you through everything. Criticism becomes your teacher, not your tormentor. When someone wounds your pride, you ask, what if this holds insight? What can I glean from this? Even harsh words carry kernels of evolution if you look. You would not grow without the pressure, without the grind. Criticism when reframed, becomes your ally in the ascent. Let go faithfully and finely. Carrying grudges is like clasping a hot coal, waiting for the moment to hurl it at someone. But each second, you burn. Strength is not in retaliation, but release. Let it go not because you forgive them, but because you deserve the air that resentment chokes out. All these paths wind toward the same summit, inner clarity. You will still face storms, still feel raw, still carry scars. But clarity, the acceptance of every edge of yourself, becomes your armor. You feel deeply, you suffer deeply, yet you remain intact because you have descended and risen again and again in yourself. You are no longer surviving, you are sovereign. Now, as the world storms on, your calm stands not as escape, but as home, not as dullness, but as depth. You are not untouched, you are unshakable. And that is your secret. Not hiding from hurt, but letting it pass through, letting it transform you, letting it become your strength. Stay breathing, stay becoming, stay calm. You begin to see now this calm, this internal stillness. It isn't passive. It isn't weakness dressed up in virtue, number. It is the most active rebellion in a world engineered to provoke you. A world that profits from your reactivity, from your emotional instability, from your inability to pause and choose. But you are not a pawn in someone else's game, not anymore. The greatest threat to those who seek to manipulate you is your refusal to be disturbed. Let that sink in. The man who cannot be provoked cannot be controlled. The woman who stays composed under pressure terrifies those who rely on chaos to assert dominance. When you master the art of stillness in the face of psychological warfare, you become an anomaly, a disruptor, a sovereign force. They will try to rattle you. They will call you cold, distant, unfeeling. But what they're really saying is this: you do not react the way we expect you to. And that is your liberation. To be misunderstood, yet unmoved. To be targeted, yet tranquil. That is a power very few possess. Carl Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." That unconscious, the tangled web of your pain, your pride, your protective stories. It's what gets triggered when someone hurts you. And if you don't bring it into the light, you live as a marionette to invisible wounds, reacting without knowing why. But once seen, once owned, that shadow no longer owns you. It becomes your ally, your inner compass, your guardian of depth. You want peace? Then do not chase comfort. Chase integration. Chase the truth so ruthlessly that even your ego begins to tremble. Calm is not born from numbing, it is born from confrontation, from looking directly into the eyes of your trauma, your betrayal, your heartbreak, and saying, "You will not shape me through avoidance. I will learn your language. I will wear you until you disappear." And in that confrontation, you unlock cyphoria, the divine state of psychological clarity. That transcendent awareness when your soul and psyche begin to move as one, where you are no longer swayed by the opinions of others because you've met your deepest self. And once you meet that self, there is no going back. They can talk, they can mock, they can betray, but none of it touches you. Why? Because your self-worth no longer resides in their hands. You have revoked their access. You have shut the door gently, silently, permanently. Do you think Marcus Aurelius stayed calm because the world was kind to him? He ruled an empire plagued by war, plague, and betrayal. And yet, in his meditations, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is not philosophy for scholars, it's war paint for warriors of the soul. You must wear it when the arrows fly. You must become it when your name is dragged, when your love is abused, when your presence is taken for granted, Do not lower yourself to vengeance. Let karma take care of what the ego wants to handle. Your energy is too valuable to be spent on proving anything to anyone. The moment you feel the surge of anger rising, pause. Observe. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this mine? Or is it just noise disguised as urgency? Most things are noise. And those who master silence master the signal through that noise. Let them misunderstand you. Let them invent stories. Let them create their own versions of you to soothe their egos. Do not waste a single breath correcting those who have already decided what you are. There is no peace in explaining your integrity to people committed to misunderstanding it. Do not react, redirect. Use their doubt as fuel. Use their gossip as guidance. Use their betrayal as blueprints. They gave you the raw materials of greatness when they tried to diminish you. Every insult became brick. Every slight became steel. You are building a fortress out of what was meant to destroy you. You don't need them to see your worth. You need only to see it yourself. That is the genesis of calm. Not from a life absent of pain, but from a heart so thoroughly acquainted with pain that it no longer fears it. You have gone to the depths. You have seen the monster. And it was not them. It was your own neglected reflection. And now, you no longer flinch. You carry yourself differently. Your walk is slower, but heavier. Your presence lingers. Not because you are trying to impress, but because you have nothing to prove. You have faced the crucible, and you came out gold. Now you speak less. Smile with purpose. Listen with presence. And when provoked, you don't flinch. Because there is nothing left to protect. You are whole. And the whole cannot be hurt by fragments. This is not detachment. This is divine attachment to what truly matters. You are no longer attached to validation, to outcomes, to appearances. You are tethered only to your essence, the part of you no insult can reach. So next time they try to hurt you, pause, smile inwardly, and remember, every word, every action, every attempt to disturb you is a test, not of your strength, but of your clarity. Stay calm, because nothing shakes a storm like a still soul. Because there is something sacred about being unbothered, not in the shallow, performative way that pretends not to care, but in the deep, unwavering stillness that says, I've already made peace with this. A peace born not from escape, but from exposure. You have faced the dragon within the desire to retaliate, to be right, to destroy, and you have chosen instead to disarm it. You have chosen mastery. And that mastery is not loud. It does not announce itself. It does not need to be validated or seen. It moves like water, silent, steady, persistent. It flows around the obstacle without losing its nature. You are no longer here to fight every battle. You are here to become the landscape through which battles pass but never settle. This is the path of the disciplined soul, the one who feels everything but chooses which feelings deserve a seat at the table. You are not cold, you are curated. You have become selective with your suffering, because not all pain is worthy. Not all wounds deserve your blood. Some injuries were crafted to bait you, to pull you down into a spiral of reaction. But you are no longer baited. You are no longer predictable. You are no longer available for emotional sabotage. The calm you now carry is terrifying to those who thrive on chaos. They do not know what to do with someone who cannot be manipulated through guilt. They do not know how to control someone who does not fear rejection. They do not know how to offend someone who has outgrown the need to be liked. And so they resort to escalation. They raise their voice, they push buttons, they test boundaries. And you breathe. You do not descend. You do not mirror their storm. You reflect their chaos back to them with your stillness. Like a mirror, You show them who they are simply by remaining who you are. This is not a technique. This is not a trick. This is the natural result of self-ownership, of radical responsibility. You have stopped outsourcing your peace to a world that does not know how to keep it. You have stopped depending on others to validate your emotions. You now sit with them, name them, honor them, release them. This is the psychological alchemy. Jung spoke of transforming the lead of unconscious reactivity into the gold of conscious response. You are no longer fighting to be heard in rooms built to silence you. You build your own room, your own silence, your own rules. And in that space, you are untouchable. Not because you are above hurt, but because you are within yourself. And when pain visits, and it will, you do not panic. You welcome it like an old friend. Ah, you're back, you say. What have you come to teach me this time? Because you know every pang is a portal. Every ache is an initiation. You are no longer trying to escape discomfort. You are here to walk through it, eyes open, heart steady. You do not numb yourself. You refine yourself. You sharpen your mind against the whetstone of suffering. You temper your spirit in the fire of experience. You strip away the unnecessary until only the essential remains. You walk into the room and say nothing, but everything shifts because people can feel it. The weight of someone who has nothing to prove, nothing to defend, nothing to hide. You are calm, not because life is easy, but because you have decided that nothing outside of you is worth the cost of losing what you've built inside. And they will sense it, the ones who prey on weakness. They will circle you, waiting for the fracture. They will look for the open wound. But you have already stitched yourself. You have already closed the loop. Let them gossip. Let them disrespect. Let them underestimate. You are not here to explain. You are not here to correct. You are here to remain centered, still, focused, rooted. Because what is more terrifying than a person who has met their shadow and refused to run? What is more powerful than the soul who has faced humiliation, heartbreak, injustice, and kept their integrity? That is who you are now. You no longer need to be defended. You are not a collection of reactions. You are the space that holds them. You are the eye of the storm, the breath in the chaos, the pause before the choice. You've become so internally stable, so anchored in your truth, that external events feel like weather passing over a mountain. You don't move. You observe. You adapt. You remain. This is how you protect your energy. Not by hiding from the world, but by becoming the kind of person the world cannot destabilize. And yes, this calm will cost you. It will cost you the drama, the attention, the validation that comes from being reactive. It will cost you the false intimacy of trauma bonding. It will cost you the cheap dopamine of winning arguments. But in return, you receive everything worth having. Sovereignty, silence, strength. You start to choose your battles like a master picks their words rarely and only when necessary. You no longer argue just to be right. You listen, you understand. And sometimes you walk away not because you've lost, but because you've outgrown the conversation. You're no longer accessible to people who feed on emotional instability. You have upgraded your frequency. You have changed the locks to your soul. And those who once knew how to hurt you no longer have the keys. Because your calm is not just for you. It is a revolution. It is a message to every broken system, every toxic pattern, every manipulative game. I see you. I understand you. But you do not define me. And with that you walk on, still, silent, unbothered. Because walking away in silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the decision to preserve your power rather than waste it in a firefight of egos. It is choosing the higher battlefield, the one within where the real war is fought, where the soul is either shackled to impulse or liberated through self-command. Let them think they've won. Let them celebrate their petty victories in arguments you never intended to finish. Let them project, accuse, distort. You are not there to defend the story they wrote about you. You are living a different narrative, entirely one, where your peace is too sacred to auction off for approval. This is the art of restraint, not suppression. Restraint. The conscious choice to hold back, not because you're afraid, but because you've seen the price of indulgence, and you are no longer willing to pay it. You've learned that the one who angers you owns you, and you don't belong to anyone. You've moved from reaction to creation. You are no longer in the business of reacting to insults or injustices like a puppet pulled by strings of emotion. You are a creator now, a sculptor of moments, a builder of states. Every time you choose calm, you carve into reality a new possibility, one where you are not dictated by external chaos, but guided by internal clarity. And that clarity didn't come cheap. It came through betrayal, through heartbreak, through nights where your own thoughts felt like enemies. You walked through the inferno of humiliation, abandonment, and failure, and you emerged, not unscarred, but unconquered. Those scars, they are your credentials. Proof that you've been broken and rebuilt. Not better, truer. Because the true calm is not given, it is earned. It is earned by refusing to let your past hijack your present. It is earned by surrendering control over people's perceptions. It is earned by confronting every wound, not with judgment, but with presence. When they hurt you now, it doesn't hit the same. Not because it doesn't sting, but because you don't cling. You feel it. You breathe through it. You release it. You don't internalize it anymore because you've already sat with the version of yourself who once believed that pain meant truth. Now you know better. You've become the mountain, not loud, not aggressive, but immovable. And from that place, your decisions change. Your environment changes. Your standards rise without a word. You stop explaining your worth. You stop chasing closure. You stop negotiating with chaos. You do not fight anymore to be understood. You understand yourself, and that is enough. They will come back. Not all of them, but some. Some will circle back when they realize your silence wasn't surrender, it was strength. Some will reach for your calm when their world collapses under the weight of their noise. Do not gloat. Do not close your heart. Simply remain still. Let your peace teach them what your words never could. Because calm is contagious. And just as chaos creates more chaos, your silence creates space. Your presence becomes the mirror where others meet themselves, some for the first time. And they will either elevate to meet you or evaporate in the discomfort of your elevation. Either way, you remain grounded. This isn't about being indifferent. You care deeply, but you have stopped outsourcing your reactions. You have stopped making your nervous system a battleground for someone else's unhealed wounds. You've trained yourself. Your breath is now your weapon, your awareness, your armor, your poise, your posture of power. Because let's be honest, anyone can explode. Anyone can scream, lash out, tear down. That's not power. That's panic. That's a soul cornered by its own inability to sit in discomfort. But you sit in it like a king on his throne, like a queen unmoved by the madness of the court. You watch, you observe, you calculate, and then you move strategically, purposefully, calmly, because calm is not absence of emotion. It is emotion governed by purpose. You have purpose now. You no longer react to pain, you channel it. You let it fuel your clarity, refine your direction, strip away distractions. Every moment of calm you claim is a blow to the systems that profit off your distraction. Every breath you take instead of lashing out is a revolution against emotional slavery. You've remembered who you are, not the role they gave you, not the projection they painted of you, but the real you, the one underneath the defenses, the patterns, the trauma responses, the one who knows, in their bones, that no insult can diminish truth, that no rejection can erase worth, that no betrayal can erase what you've built in silence. And now you carry yourself like a sovereign. You've stopped leaking energy. You've stopped bleeding for causes that don't serve your soul. You've stopped fighting for people who wouldn't walk for you. Because you understand, true peace is not about being above pain. It's about walking through it without letting it own you. This is your calm, not a performance, a practice, a philosophy, a lifestyle. And no one, not your past, not your critics, not your enemies, can take that away. Stay calm. Let the storm pass. Let the chaos roar. You already know how it ends. You remain because now, when the storm comes, and it will you no longer ask it to go away, you welcome it like a returning ancestor. You sit with it, you listen, and in that silence you remember the storm was never your enemy. It was your initiation. And now you've passed through the fire. You've walked through the battlefield of your own mind. You've stared down every demon disguised as a friend, a lover, a critic, a fear. You've bled, you've wept, you've shattered. And in the ruins of who you once were, you built something sacred. A mind that does not waver when tested. A heart that does not close when betrayed. A soul that does not flee when confronted. This is the secret. They will never understand how you can be so still when everything shakes, how you can be so calm when everything burns. They'll call it cold. They'll call it unnatural. But you know what? Island, it's power, not the kind that shouts, not the kind that dominates, but the kind that transcends, the kind that sees through illusions, walks through fire, and comes out cleaner on the other side. Because you've found the place no one can touch. It's not a wall, it's not a mask, it's not armor. It's clarity, it's self-respect. It's a knowing so deep, so unshakable, that the opinions of others become whispers in the wind. That betrayal becomes redirection. That pain becomes prophecy. You are no longer afraid of being hurt. You've already survived the worst of it, the chaos of your own mind. And from that stillness, from that brutal and beautiful quiet, you rise, unapologetics, unshakable, unbothered, not because life stopped hurting, but because you finally remembered who you are.